Five Nights at Freddy's, an indie horror franchise by Scott Cawthon that blew up in popularity 4 years ago, which could be debatable to this day if it is still popular. From this 4 years, there has been 7 games, 1 spin-off game, 1 Halloween update, 4 troll games, a bunch of fan games, 5 books, an upcoming film adaptation, merchandise, fan music, fan animations, a Gmod map, fan art, and even FnaF ships too? Let's move on. Hey there guys, this is Tyler and welcome back to another video. Since the FnaF series is over, or maybe we think it is, I'm going to be basically saying each of my thoughts on each of the FNAF games in the series from a worst to best list. Before we do start, I will be saying my honest thoughts and opinions throughout this, so please don't get triggered or start pity wars in the comments. Thank you. To also clear something up, I won't be including FNAF World or the FNAF 4 Halloween edition, so in this I will be saying quick thoughts about each in a moment, but I do want to say I wouldn't really call them official FNAF games, so that's why they won't be on the list. FNAF 4 Halloween edition was a decent reskin to the original FNAF 4 with some designs of the new animatronics like Nightmare Own being well done. FNAF World was a fun game to play despite it is or one of the most hated FNAF games Sky has ever made. It was something different for a change and has a neat adventure to play in. With my thoughts of those 2 games out of the way, let's get right into the list. It'll be organized to the worst to the best, so let's get right into this. Now, what I think the worst game in the FNAF series is Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator, or commonly referred to as Five Nights at Freddy's 6. The point of this game was to combine a tycoon-like game to the FNAF 6 part of the game, which was the FNAF Nights. I will be honest, I like the tycoon segment because it's different, but what makes this the worst game of the series is the main nights, like the FNAF aspect. The only plus I have for it is that the night progresses if you finish the tasks on the computer and log out of it instead of an amount of time counting. But otherwise, the office looks bland, the mechanics on the monitor with the silent vent, audio, and motion can be confusing for players that are new or haven't played in a while. And the main mechanic of the game is just listening for crawling from the side of the vent and just staring down at them until they leave, which you do not know if they have or not. The problem with the main mechanic is it is so unoriginal, maybe the most unoriginal mechanic in a FNAF game I've ever seen, which Scott could have made it better, but nope. The main issue with this game is the tycoon part. It is more of a focus than the night segments, which to make this at least a decent game, each of it needs to be balanced, the tycoon segment and the night segment. Plus, the game can be unfair too during the nights, which bothers me, like you're looking down at the vent and enemies as that enemy kills you anyway. Because FNAF charm, I guess, but maybe because you're too late to get to that vent, I don't know. I'll admit the salvaging segments were original and not that bad, but a little too flimsy if you know what I mean. Like the feeling it was unpolished. Although when people looked or played it for the first ever time without spoilers beforehand, the surprise of it being the 6th entry in the FNAF series with Scrap Baby, or people called her Freak Show Baby, was actually pretty nice, but just isn't special after it anymore. The cutscene for the good ending was actually pretty good and well put together. Even the dialogue was great during it. Although it might have been just a simple ending or solution to the main FNAF storyline where souls got murdered, need to get revenge, and set free. It's just, the ending is, send them in one place and burn the remnant. Too abrupt, honestly. Also, I know I said the voice acting with a cassette man, or Henry if you follow the lore, was good during the final cutscene, but the voice acting and dialogue during the main nights takes away the horror atmosphere, basically making it less scary, which isn't good for a FNAF game. What made Ultimate Custom Night and Sister Location good was that the voice acting was well done, and it didn't play that much or even at all during moments of survival to keep its atmosphere a bit tense and scary. And also, for those people that want to play the game to complete it, you had concentration. Although some FNAF memes came from some of the main night lines, like "One big happy family" and
"I always come back."
But they became FNAF memes to the point where people like saying them, so that is a plus. Another gripe I have that Scratch Wraps or Afton's model plus design's pretty bad. The FNAF 3 Springtrap design was good and better because it actually looked disturbing and was more detailed to what it was supposed to be. That you can look at the FNAF 3 Springtrap and be like, yeah, that's a purple man riding inside an old withered spring Bonnie suit, alright. But Scratch Wrap just looks plain and pale and tried to be more menacing, hence the sharp teeth, and it isn't menacing, honestly. That only worked for the nightmare animatronics in FNAF 4, okay? Conclusion, FNAF 6 isn't my cup of tea, honestly. It could have been better. Sadly, I don't recommend it, but thankfully it is free, so you don't need to worry about wasting money. It was a big disappointment from what Scott was doing it with it before release. Similar to Bending Ink Machine Chapter 5, I should add. Wait, that'll be it for another best or worst video. Anyways, moving on. The second worst FNAF game in the series is Five Nights at Freddy's 3. The third installment in the FNAF series, obviously. In this game, you're as a security guard like the other two previous games, but instead of it at Chuck E. Cheese, totally not a rip-off pizzeria, you're at a horror attraction called Fazbear's Fright, where it's supposed to attract and scare people with the horrors of Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria long ago. Basically the story of FNAF with the murders and bites. They only have a few artifacts and kids' drawings for the first night. Until the second night, they found an actual animatronic from the original Freddy's, the FNAF 1 location, I might add. That animatronic being the one we all know as Springtrap. He'll try to get you as usual, but you can get him and keep him for a while in a nearby room by using the audio button. He could also get you for the vents, which if he enters one, seal it as fast as you can. There are also phantom versions of Freddy, Chica, Foxy, Balloon Boy, Mangle, and the Puppet, which you need to do certain things to get rid of them. I won't specify all since there is a lot. Now let's talk about what I think about this game. Why is FNAF 3 near the bottom of the list? Well, it is basically because it isn't scary for the most part. Sure, Springtrap's design is really disturbing and it can be shocking the first few times. Heck, even the rare death screens, he looks more disturbing, menacing, and gory. Ew. But otherwise, the game isn't that scary. The Phantom animatronics designs just aren't appealing and are the least memorable in the series. The jump scares, especially Springtrap's, isn't even that scary. It's honestly just a pass. The main nights are sometimes very boring or just easy to where you can even beat Nightmare Mode on your first try. I do like how at the time the audio buttons were the original ways of dealing with animatronics, so that is a plus, but otherwise this game is easy, not scary, plain, and passable. FNAF 3 is like FNAF 3, where the minigames are better than the main nights. Yeah, minigames. After you beat a night, you get an 8-bit minigame where for the first 4 nights, you're one of the original animatronics and you follow Shadow Freddy, who leads you to the safe room, which when you get there, You can't go in there, and purple guy comes out and completely dismantles you, and the minigame ends. By night 5, you're playing as a dead spirit going for the safe room where you corner a purple guy, which he hides in Springtrap, but dies as in bleeding out due to the spring box. Then after in the timeline, the main nights of FNAF 3 happen. There's also a good ending too, where you need to satisfy the souls of the children by going to secret minigames you can enter by clues given on the wall of the left hall in the After Night minigames. The story in FNAF 3 was quite interesting and good storytelling if I were to be honest, and the good ending was sweet where you could feel happy the souls were set free after so many years. Heck, even the music during the good ending screen was a bit emotional to me, and a lot others. Even the final part of the Happiest Day minigame where the souls disappear and the balloons fly up into the heavens was a bit to handle. The good ending was a good ending indeed, and was an emotional but also well thought out ending for a good story. It was a bit obvious FNAF 3 was made for the story. The minigames and story behind FNAF 3 were good and well told, but the main nights or main game itself was boring and an easy mess. If you wanted to see big parts of the story of the FNAF lore, I would recommend FNAF 3, but if you're in for the gameplay only or mostly, I would pass in all honesty. Coming for the third worst of the series is Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Back during the popularity and well reception of Five Nights at Freddy's 1 back in 2014, Scott decided to make a sequel. If you look into the lore of the game and compare to FNAF 1, it's a prequel, which got the old fans hyped. On November 10th of 2014, it released, being hyped as hopefully better than FNAF 1. Why is FNAF 2 on the list as well? Well, it's almost the same as FNAF 1, and literally FNAF 1 was better than this. The only thing is there are mask, flashing, vent, and music box mechanics instead of doors and camera stand and flipping. So different mechanics, which is great. But otherwise, it's just the same game with different mechanics, like I said before. Now, I also think this game is the hardest in the series. You want to know why? Okay. It has frickin' RNG bullcrap. It is like that for most of the game, as in Nights 4 and onward. Like, you just have Balloon Boy or Toy Bonnie, or actually Mangle and Toy Chica occasionally as well, camping your event when you need to flash Withered Foxy and wind the music box especially. It's pretty stupid RNG, honestly. This game also is basically Freddy Fazbear's Pizza again, except a different version or building. The other games were somewhat different from the first one because of the different locations. Cough, cough. Horror attraction, house, rental service, underground, purgatory. Well, maybe FNAF 6 was still a Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria location, but it was different in many ways in terms of the office and such. FNAF 2 could have been better if it were a somewhat original location. Otherwise, FNAF 2 isn't bad, it's just mediocre. FNAF 2 introduces more onto the story of the series, which I sorta did like about it. FNAF 1 did a little bit, but not much was known or shown apart from the phone calls, Easter eggs, and etc. FNAF 2 introduced and had the 8-bit minigames after dying to an animatronic, which actually starts to give the basic idea of the FNAF lore of the murders and the puppet, and the Bite of 87 especially. That is a plus for the game, since more of the FNAF story starts to get shown here than FNAF 1, even though future games in the series give more clues, and then later by a sister location or FNAF 6, it is story based. Another thing is that I like the looks of some of the characters, such as Mangle for being a different style than before, the puppet for his haunting look, and Withered Bonnie because of a different idea for having no face. It looks pretty cool, or even creepy in my head. I don't know about creepy, but cool for sure. Otherwise, the designs to the other characters are meh, and oh boy, Did Toy Chicas get those creepy artists to make their... I don't even know what to call it, so I'm not going to say anything. Let's just move on. Otherwise, FNAF 2 isn't bad or terrible, but it's just mediocre. If FNAF 1 was better, which FNAF 2 tried to be better than FNAF 1, so mission failed. We'll get it next time. If you want to buy and play the game on Steam, go ahead, but on a half, I recommend it, but on the other half, I don't. Now, we're getting to the good side of the series. What I mean is these next games are what makes the series stand out and are the big ups to the franchise. Let's stop talking about the downs and get right to the ups. Now next, for the fourth best in the series is Five Nights at Freddy's 4, The Final Chapter. Fourth best. FNAF 4? Anyways, this game brought something completely different to the table of the series, which was the location and player. This time, following the events of the Bite of 83, you are playing as a young child, which in the lore of the series, he's Michael Afton, in their bedroom at their house in a nightmare or dream setting. The animatronics are the nightmare animatronics, which, holy Fazbear ball sticks, they look terrifying and disturbing as hell. You only have a flashlight to your protection and must check the closet, bed, and the left and right doors for animatronics. For the bed, if you see Freddles, hold the light till they are all gone. If Foxy's in the closet, hold the closet door closed until he's in his plushy stage, and if you're at any door, listen 3 to 4 seconds for either Bonnie or Chica's breathing. If there is breathing, hold the door closed until you hear footsteps that mean they're gone, but if they aren't there, shine the light, with a chance of seeing them in the corner. Now, I will say the gameplay can get a bit repetitive, and the logic of the flashlight can't run out of battery for multiple flashes, unlike FNAF 2. But honestly, the idea of flashing animatronics works really well logically, and the fact that it makes it seem like nightmarish danger is on the way is pretty nice. FNAF 4 is really amazing as well, because the nightmare animatronics look very nice and very detailed and, dare I say, creepy. It looks really cool in general, and it's something I would sit down and play for a real scare. Hell, you can even get very freaked out playing. This game, in fact, is the only game in the FNAF series that really scared me back in the days. I even knew someone who had a nightmare of Nightmare Fredbear, and they didn't look at FNAF 4 the same way again. To most people, it is clear to them FNAF 4 is the scariest game in the series. FNAF 4 is also good with story too and the cutscenes. Maybe the Bite cutscene started a huge debate on if it were good, or if it were the good old Bite of 83 or 87, but not a major problem, okay? Big debates over an indie horror game make it known and good, so no need to complain there. Overall, FNAF 4 is a good game in the series that I suggest trying if you want to pee your pants or look for huge story details. Just bring an extra pair of underwear with you to your PC or mobile device. For the love of God, please. Coming at the third best in the entire series is Five Nights at Freddy's, or some people call it Five Nights at Freddy's 1. Yes, the original FNAF. The game that started it all. Now, I'll say this now, this game is a classic in any gaming or horror gaming, and has gone to win many awards, and the Android version, as of writing this script, is the number 4 paid game on the Google Play Store. What makes this game so good is how old it feels like, and it's just so simple and easily understandable. There wasn't all this complex lore clues or details thrown everywhere or advanced and improved over time mechanics to deal with animatronics. Just a simple use blind spot, closed door, and look at camera game. I also love FNAF 1 because at the time it was released, it was an original twist to the horror genre, never really done before until then, so that is a major plus. Goddamn, Sky's full of ideas in his humble little head. Anyways, FNAF 1 has a special place in my heart for starting one of the most talked about video game franchises of all time and one of my favorites. Another reason why I like FNAF 1 is how difficult you can get later where it's about skill. Like it sucks you in to play the game more to get the secrets to the point where you're ripping apart 420 mode. Also, some parts can be a bit scary or horrific, especially Bonnie, who me and other people think has an uncanny vibe that is disturbing and unsettling. I will say that the scenes for beating Nights 5, 6, or 420 mode were just screens and nothing big, and could have been better, but it's still a very good game nonetheless, and a personal favorite in the series, and a personal favorite of video games of all time as well. You could have easily guessed that since you probably know my gaming channel is a FNAF channel. Anyways, I highly recommend FNAF 1 if you want an old and simple vibe of classic horror and rage-inducing but fair difficulty later on. Also, side note before moving on, FNAF 1 is the cheapest game in the series besides FNAF 6 Ultimate Custom and FNAF World where they're free. Otherwise, moving on to the second best in the series. The second best Five Nights at Freddy's game in the series is Sister Location. A very amazing game indeed. Sister Location was the 5th entry in the series after FNAF World, so it is basically Five Nights at Freddy's 5. Sister Location changes the game style and has you move around different rooms, which I love a lot, so that is a plus. It is something different and refreshing. The character models are also amazing, and the voice acting as well done and good, especially Funtime Freddy, man. Killing Goff, you did it. You did the unthinkable, in a good way. This game is amazingly well done and is worth checking out. I will say this, it would seem like a fan game though at first because of some of the gameplay elements, but to be honest, I don't even care about that, because I love fan games as well. The game proceeds to make it different and spice up the gameplay. Also, a lot of stories added into this too, which I'll say made the story a little bit more confusing though, but honestly just makes the story worth looking into in the end. And also there's a custom night too, which is basically the private room for the good ending, well, not good ending, the fake ending with Enard, but it has like the main animatronics and sister locations except for Baby and a few more, which the mechanics are pretty neat, and yeah, it also has its little own cutscenes, which is really good, too. Don't know what else to say about them. Otherwise, I advise you to play Sister Location if you want a different type of Five Nights at Freddy's game and you're looking for free roam. Moving on to the number 1 best in the entire series. The best Five Nights at Freddy's game in the entire series, in my opinion, is, drumroll please, Ultimate Custom Night, the most recent game in the series as of now, which has 50 plus characters at least from every FNAF game attacking you at once, which is an amazing crossover between games. How similar to Smash Ultimate. You're in a purgatory playing as William Afton, getting all of the torture from the animatronics with endless death. You have to defend against the animatronics in many different ways. Yes, many different ways. Now, it isn't like FNAF 4, where the only defense tool was the flashlight. Yes, the flashlight returns in Ultimate Custom Night against Phantom Freddy, the Freddle/Nightmare Freddy, and Nightmare Balloon Boy, but it isn't the only defense. Yes, there's a lot of things to use for defense against animatronics. You have a flashlight, hall and vent doors, cameras, a mask, and much more. What I love about most of these new defenses or mechanics is that they are original, no matter how difficult it is. Like the slippery floor sign, buying plushies, hell, oh, you get it? You know? No, okay. Even playing a frickin' video game for frickin' Toy Freddy. If it isn't original, they are remastered, very much like what Ultimate Custom Night was probably trying to do for the other FNAF games. Another reason why this game is amazing is the graphics are well done. Like literally, cameras or rooms that are in the dark are incredible to look at. And plus it's just so smooth and easy to see. Like it's just a work of art, realistic art to be exact, done by modeling programs. Another reason this game is good is because this is playable and enjoyable for new fans and importantly, old fans. Like let's say after FNAF 4, I stopped playing FNAF and being a part of the community and such. But then I noticed Ultimate Custom Night was out, and then I realized its existence as a game. And I decided to download the game on Steam or GameJolt and gave it a go. Then I played it for a bit, maybe for like 10 to 15 or 20, 30 or even an hour. And then I actually had fun playing it because it was something like the era of FNAF 1 to 4. The classic FNAF gameplay, even though FNAF 2 and 3 bombed. I honestly adore this game of the series, and this is even one of my favorite games of all time, with Sister Location and FNAF 1, and a few other games that are not FNAF. I actually don't have any flaws for Ultimate Custom Night. It isn't meant to be scary, but it is meant for fun and difficulty, which I can happily say has succeeded. This game, like I said before, current fans or returning / old fans can enjoy very much. Plus, there are many things to do and has replay value. You can complete the game challenges, make your own challenges and play them for yourself, try to get high scores and statues, get the anime cutscenes, yes, anime cutscenes, get Easter eggs and lore points, or even attempt and try to complete 50 tournament for that satisfactory completion and brag to people that you are the second king or queen of Finance at Freddy's. Jokes aside, this game is the biggest up in the FNAF series, and is a game I highly recommend. If I were someone to make a top 10 2018 games list, I would highly recommend adding this game onto this list. If you want the old FNAF feeling and want to have fun, and plus, even if you're not looking for horror, you could play this game. This is free as well, so yeah, that's pretty good. Alright guys, so that was the worst to best Fights at Freddy's games list. Keep in mind this is all my opinion and you can think differently. Just don't get triggered about it or start wars in the comments. And also, I would like to point out something. I am aware that FNAF Into Madness was announced, but there hasn't been that much proof that Scott's actually working on it right now. We don't even know if he's actually going to be making it yet. Or even the AAA game, but we'll have to wait and see. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this little video. I'm thinking about doing worst to best videos for other games and such as well. Maybe Bending the Ink Machine chapters? We will see. Comment below if you want to see a Bending the Ink Machine worst to best list. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more content or especially worst to best videos. And if you want that content, be sure to hit the notification bell and comment below your thoughts or opinions. See you guys later. Bye everybody.